Pope Leo XIV is furious at Donald Trump and his despicable regime of war criminals. Pope Leo XIV is in Cameroon, where he gave his most powerful speech yet, striking back at Donald Trump and Hegseth and the entire regime. This comes on the same day that Pope Leo XIV's brother in the United States just received death threats as Donald Trump and his regime continue to attack the Pope. Donald Trump sends proxies on American media to attack the Pope, and now Pope Leo XIV's brother is getting death threats. Now, this also comes as Pope Leo XIV is believed to have been getting death threats directly from Donald Trump and Trump's regime of war criminals. It has been reported that in January, the Trump regime summoned Pope Leo XIV's top ambassador to the United States and said that we will turn this Pope, we will turn this papacy into the same papacy in the 14th century where the French killed the Pope in Avignon, the Avignon papacy. And that's what we're going to do to Pope Leo XIV if you don't get in line. If he continues to criticize Donald Trump, if he's not going to show up to the American 250th anniversary, if he's going to continue to be critical of what we're doing. Yeah, you remember the what happened to the French in the 14th century? That's what we're going in Avignon. That's what we're going to do here. So Pope Leo XIV, though, is not afraid. He's not deterred at all. In Cameroon, he just gave this speech moments ago where he called out. This is what he said. He said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, but woe to those who manipulate religion and the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain." And obviously, he's talking about Trump and Hegseth and J.D. Vance. Vance converted to Catholicism. Watch Pope Leo XIV moments ago in Cameroon. Let's play it.
Jesus told us, "Blessed are the peacemakers, but woe to those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain, dragging that which is sacred into darkness and filth." Yes, my dear sisters and brothers, you who hunger and thirst for justice, who are poor, merciful, meek, and pure of heart, you who have wept, you are the light of the world.
And then he doesn't stop there. Pope Leo XIV talks about how the world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants. I think he's focused on Trump and Putin, but here, play this clip. And Netanyahu, here, play this clip right here.
The world is being ravaged by a handful of tyrants, yet is held together by a multitude of supportive brothers and sisters. They are the descendants of Abraham, as numerous as the stars in the sky and the grains of sand on the seashore. Let us look into each other's eyes. We are this immense people. Peace is not something we must invent. It is something we must embrace by accepting our neighbor as our brother and as our sister.
More from Pope Leo XIV. He talks about the masters of war pretend not to know that it takes only a moment to destroy. More powerful words. Here, play this clip.
The masters of war pretend not to know that it takes only a moment to destroy. Yet often, a lifetime is often not enough to rebuild. They turn a blind eye to the fact that billions of dollars are spent on killing, on devastation, yet the resources needed for healing, education, and restoration are nowhere to be found.
I'll just share with you another angle of this speech right here, where you can just see how loud and passionate this speech is in Cameroon and how fired up the people were there. Let's play this clip. Now,
the suffering by your community has only made stronger your conviction that God has never abandoned us. In God, in His peace, we can always begin anew.
obviously, one of the people Pope Leo XIV was talking about is Pete Hegseth. And today, Hegseth was justifying the war crimes committed by Trump and Netanyahu by citing sermons, by citing the Pharisees and saying the media is like the Pharisees who went after Jesus. And he goes, when I was at church this weekend, it's just fascinating because I'm thinking how the media here that does fake news, they're like the Pharisees and they're like the people who attack Jesus. So now comparing Trump to Jesus, this is what is happening in this really religious extremist regime, war criminal regime of the Trump regime. Here, play Hegseth's clip right here.
This past Sunday, I was sitting in church with my family, and our minister preached from the book of Mark, the 3rd chapter. And in the passage, Jesus entered a synagogue and healed a man with a withered hand. The Pharisees came to watch. And as the scripture reads, they came to see whether Jesus would heal him, or he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. You see, the Pharisees, the so-called and self-appointed elites of their time, they were there to witness, to write everything down, to report. But their hearts were hardened. Even though they witnessed a literal miracle, it didn't matter. They were only there to explain away the goodness in pursuit of their agenda. As the passage ends, the Pharisees went out and immediately held counsel against him, how to destroy him. I sat there in church and I thought, our press are just like these Pharisees.
And then he just continues to say, nothing gets foisted on Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
The idea of Operation Epic Fury, not a single thing has been foisted upon the President of the United States. President Trump makes his own decisions about the interests of this country and defending our interests, and then working with allies and partners, in this case, Israel, who's got a lot of will and a lot of capabilities, which we're grateful for.
And then just more whining from Hegseth from this press conference. And you can see why he's being called out, not just by Pope Leo XIV, but everybody. I mean, this guy is an absolute lunatic. Let's play this clip.
The hardened hearts of our press are calibrated only to impugn. I would ask you to open your eyes to the goodness, the historic success of our troops, the courage of this president, and this historic moment for a deal that could end the Iranian nuclear threat, the incredible battlefield victory laid before your eyes, the not one, but 2 incredible rescue missions, miracles.
And meanwhile, you have all of these MAGA Republicans attacking Pope Leo XIV and saying, oh, you deserve to be ridiculed by Donald Trump. You deserve to have Donald Trump, because Trump's been saying Pope Leo XIV is a bad pope and he better get his act together or else. And of course, threatening Pope Leo XIV's life, as I mentioned before. And that's what Trump's been doing every day. Attack on Pope Leo XIV. And then Donald Trump has sent his proxies now to attack Pope Leo XIV. And by the way, now Donald Trump and his regime, they have abruptly canceled millions of dollars worth of contracts with the Catholic Church. For example, that shelter and care migrant children who enter the U.S. alone. The U.S. government has abruptly decided to end more than 60 years of a relationship with Catholic charities in the Archdiocese of Miami. The Archdiocese of Miami Services for Unaccompanied Minors have been recognized for their excellence and have served as a model for other agencies throughout the country. Here is Elise Stefanik, Catholic, and she's like, of course Donald Trump's going to attack the Pope. If you get political, Pope, you deserve it. And the Pope's like, I'm not getting political. I'm literally talking about decency. I'm not even talking about Catholicism, right? I mean, Pope Leo XIV's like, empathy. Let's be loving. Let's not go to war. War crimes are bad, right? And then Donald Trump and his regime like, stop talking about us. Doesn't that tell you everything about this regime? Here, play this clip of Elise Stefanik.
I don't want to see the Pope as a politician. And, the president, we know his leadership style. He is going to stand strong for the American people. And the president of the United States is a political figure. Of course, he's going to be engaged in politics when he's politically attacked. I don't want to see the Pope get involved in domestic politics. What I think we can highlight as Catholics, for myself, is the increased number of new Catholics entering the church, and that's a great success for the Catholic Church long term.
Another clip of Elise Stefanik here. I'll show you this.
Pope, and it is Republicans who are Catholics who are also coming out against
the Pope should not be attacking. The Pope, from my perspective, should not be engaging in political attacks. I don't want to see the Pope as a politician. I want to see the Pope continue to focus on this resurgence that we're seeing in the Catholic Church.
Focusing on the gospel, as he has said. He says, I'm not getting involved in politics, I'm focusing on the gospel. You don't see it that way.
I don't believe that the Pope should function as a politician. President Trump is a political leader, and he is a strong political leader, so I was disappointed to see that attack from the Pope. And I know CNN wants to continue to focus on these tweets. This is what has been happening for the past 10 years. Look at the results. Look at historically the historic number of support from Catholics for President Trump, from Catholics for House Republicans as well.
And you had MAGA Mike Johnson attacking the Pope. This is like the main position right now of MAGA Republicans, right? Like one of the things they've talked about, right? Cover up the Epstein files, attack the Pope. Here, play this clip of MAGA Mike Johnson during his press conference. Let's play it.
A pontiff or any religious leader can say anything they want, but obviously if you wade into political waters, I think you should expect some political response, and I think the Pope's received some of that. I was taken a little bit aback, just honestly, frankly, by something that was said. I think he said it several days back that something about those who engage in war, that Jesus doesn't hear their prayers or something. It is a very well settled matter of Christian theology. There's something called the just war doctrine. There's a time to every purpose under heaven. I think what the president's comments, what the vice president's comments reflect is their understanding deep in the skiff and the classified briefings of the stakes that are so high and the situation that we're facing and the fact that you had the nation that was the largest sponsor of terrorism now having had that ability taken away from them. That means potentially millions of innocent people will be able to keep their lives and not be killed by terrorists. That's a good thing. That's what's come out of this, okay? So I don't want to engage in a theological...
MAGA Republican Congress member Troy Nehls. Let's play it.
Any reaction to Donald Trump's comments on the Pope over the weekend?
I probably say the Pope needs to keep his business into leading his flock, so to speak, leading the church, and probably stay out of the political arena. He doesn't need to be getting involved in the political arena. Go lead your church, but stay out of the politics. Right? We didn't elect the Pope to be the president or be the anything else. So just keep his nose in the church's business and stay out of the political arena.
Well, what if he sees his role as sort of leading his flock away?
No, lead his flock. Well, let's focus on just behavior, doing everything else. Just focus on your flock. And Donald Trump is our president. It's not the Pope. I didn't elect the Pope to be president.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman.
MAGA Republican Congress member Jimenez. I'll play you this clip right here.
What do you make of Trump's attacks on the Pope over the weekend?
I have a difference of opinion.
Difference of opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. You for the Pope or you for Trump?
I'm for the Pope for spiritual things, and I'm for the president for political things.
Thank you, Congressman.
By the way, this is what Tucker Carlson had to say earlier today about Donald Trump and his regime. Here, let's play this clip.
What is the civic religion of the United States? What's the religion of the U.S. government? What's the religion, honestly, of Donald Trump? It's not Christianity, clearly. It's Israelism. It's the defense of Israel.
And finally, here's what AOC had to say. Here, play this clip.
Congresswoman, any remarks or any reaction to Trump's attacks on the Pope over the weekend? I know.
At the point that you're attacking the Pope, who do you think has moral authority in this situation? You know what I mean?
By the way, in contrast, do you know what they're saying in Iran? Like, Iran's president posted the following the other day. Your Excellency, Pope Leo XIV, on behalf of the great nation of Iran, I condemn the insult to your Excellency and declare the desecration of Jesus, peace be upon him. The prophet of peace and brotherhood is unacceptable to any free person. I wish glory to you from Allah. Or you have MB Ghalibaf, the leader of Iran's parliament, responds to Donald Trump's attacks on the Pope. And here's what he has to say. Honoring Pope Leo's fearless stand, I have no fear, echoes as he condemns the war crimes of Israel and the U.S. The slogan lights the path for all who refuse to stay silent on the killing of innocents. The Pope's leadership inspires millions. Thank you for your light. And again, what Trump says, Leo doesn't understand and shouldn't be talking about war. He shouldn't be talking about any other issues about migrants. He should stay in his lane, okay? He doesn't understand what Iran is doing. He says, then Prime Minister Meloni, for example, of Italy, had the Pope's back. And she's like, no, Donald Trump shouldn't be attacking the Pope every day. That's weird. Donald Trump shouldn't be posting memes of himself as Jesus. Donald was saying, oh, I'm just a doctor with the Red Cross. Donald Trump shouldn't be posting memes of Jesus hugging him to justify war. And Prime Minister Meloni, who's like, yeah, I don't agree with that. And Donald Trump's like, she is unacceptable. She doesn't care if Iran has a nuclear weapon. She doesn't have the courage. I don't like her anymore. That's where we're at, folks. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, and thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.